it's West, okay? Not just LA, but that's where we broadcast from. We broadcast live from Limerick Park, aka Africa Town, every single day in this here studio. But now I'm joined by a lawyer, community organizer. He's a singer and a songwriter too. Grew up in South LA, graduated from Dorsey. Oh, another Don. He went to UC Santa Barbara and graduated in English and history. He's got his JD from University of California, Hastings College of Law, where he was the co-president of the Black Law Students Association. Attorney Chris Martin, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in. I always love it when people wake up bright and early and come in and hang out with me. It's so much more fun than doing it by phone. So, Chris, we can go into the bio. You're an attorney, but you also are an activist.
Yes, I am.
I mean, and that's for some reason, a lot of the attorneys I know are activists, but that's not the stereotype of the buttoned up attorney, oh, let me go help Black Lives Matter. Let me protest. Let me sing at picket lines and demonstrations. But that's what you do.
That is who I am. Yes, absolutely. I've always had a passion for serving my community. And I figured that it's one of the best ways that I can give back. I feel like I was put on this earth to make a difference. And that's what I want to do.
Why do you feel that way? Where does that come from? Are your parents activists? Are you just were you just one of those strange kids? Was it inspired by art and music? Where did it come from?
I think it comes from my mom. My
Ah.
mom used to make me sit down and watch Roots, and she would be infuriated by what was going on in the film. She'd sit down and make me watch the movie Panther. I remember the story of the Black Panther Party, the 1995 film. Some of these things when I was a kid growing up, although they may have bored me when I was a kid, when I became an adult, I realized what my mom was doing. I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and watch these films as an adult. And I was just like, wow, thank you, Mom.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm hoping that's going to be my kid because
Yeah.
you well know that my child had to watch all the documentaries. I remember when my son was about 4 or 5, about 5, he said, "Mom, I don't want to watch Keith Olbermann. I don't want to watch Countdown with Keith Olbermann." I was
Right.
like, "That's terrible." But those seeds apparently sprouted in you.
And that's the thing. It's like, although as a child, I may have said, I do not want to watch The Color Purple. I want
Again.
to watch Power Rangers.
Right, right.
As a child, I said these things, but it still put something in me.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I mean, I let my kid watch Power Rangers too,
Yeah.
but we're definitely watching, Rachel Maddow, poor
Hmm.
baby. Anyway, so this has never left you.
Yes.
And so one of the things we like to do early in the morning is put what's happening in the headlines through the perspective or analysis of people like yourself. And what I love is that you are an activist, so you've been on the front lines, but you're also an attorney, so you got kind of have a double eye on what's happening.
Absolutely. And I know we got a number of things going on in our community. So let's
Yeah,
talk about it.
a whole bunch, a whole bunch. And I'm so tempted to jump to the national, and because of the 12 kinds of crazy. I mean, the fact that the former director of the FBI has been indicted, and who knows who's next? Could be Barack Obama, could be Hillary Clinton, could be, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be anybody, right?
Yeah.
Because clearly this president has an enemies list, and he's going for it.
Right.
So, but I think my question for you really has to do with how unusual that is from a legal perspective for a former leader of the FBI, for members of the Department of Justice to be summarily dismissed. I mean, the way that things are working, the idea of the Department of Justice as a personal law firm for the president as opposed to the people's lawyers, like how do you see it from a legal perspective?
Yeah. I mean, it's like we're living under, kind of the first stages of, authoritarian rule right here. This president, I believe, is doing things that are definitely unconstitutional. The way that he silences dissent by making sure that he gets rid of all the people who may be able to, speak up and speak their voices and let them know that they disagree. Is something that we've never seen on this level, at least not in America when it comes to government. When it
Right.
comes to government,
And even, when they've been out there on some weird stuff, I don't think it's ever quite been so blatant as where
right?
we are now. It's just like, say a thing, go to jail,
Yeah,
you know? Um, and I mean, I would hope and expect that the courts will say, well, like you said, that's not constitutional. You can't just do that. But we can't count on that right now, can we?
we can't. And, because Trump has packed the Supreme Court with people who are going to say yes to everything that he says, right? That is why it's important who the president of the United States is, if for no other reason, because they have the ability to decide who's going to be on the Supreme Court for the next 30, 35 years.
Which is so crazy. Like, it's a lifetime job. There's pretty much no other lifetime job
Right.
other than husband or wife, if you're lucky. But they have no term limits. And I guess, well, I know that would take a change to the Constitution. So it's highly unlikely
Yes.
that that will happen.
Yes. The people that we have on now will be the people that we have on for a while.
Yeah. Right. Um, barring a miracle.
Barring a miracle.
But the Congress could expand the court. They could do that without a constitutional amendment. It's not going to happen with the current Congress, but they could say, okay, starting tomorrow, we have 15 judges, and
Yeah,
and if Democrats were in control at that moment, they could also pack the court.
they could. They could. Will it happen though? It'd be wishful thinking, you know.
Highly unlikely. And the other thing about that is then we could see kind of what we're seeing now in California. We could have a Supreme Court race where every administration adds more and more seats, and we end up with 300 people on the Supreme Court.
Exactly. Exactly.
Have a little Supreme Court arms race.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'd be here for that. I really would.
Yeah. Tell me about that. Why would you be here for it? Tell me about
I'd be here for it because at least when we had when we had power, we wouldn't be in a position where we are now, where the rubber stamp goes for everything the president decides to do, the
it.
party
Yeah.
decides to do, no matter how outrageous.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
I mean, I'd rather if we just said, okay, we're going to have term limits and no Supreme Court justice stays for more than 12 years. That's good.
Yeah.
You got 3 presidential terms and you're pieced out. Go
Yeah.
get a job. Like, I'd be good. That would be ideal because then we wouldn't have to have, escalating more and more Supreme Court justices. But given the choice between what we got right now, which is an extreme court,
Yeah.
and having every president add more and more seats,
Yeah.
I'll take more and more seats.
I hear you. I mean, it can definitely cut both ways,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you got to just take the good with the bad, I suppose, with a situation like that.
I mean, that's what they're saying now about a Prop 50 and redistricting. It
Yeah.
can cut both ways. And if you do the math, if Republicans win every single redistricting battle, then they win this arms race that we're currently having with redistricting. But again, I support Prop 50 because it's not guaranteed that Republicans are going to win every redistricting race. So we don't roll over and do nothing.
Right.
At least they're going to be 5 seats shorter than they would have been without California doing something about it.
Right. I mean, we're going to have to fight, and we're going to have to fight harder than we ever fought before in order to make sure that, we are victorious on this.
On Prop 50.
On Prop 50.
So you're yes on Prop 50?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, I mean, there are some folks still saying, well, that's going to create, a low bar for our democracy. It's going to create this battle that Democrats can't win, or it undermines the basics of our democracy by allowing. But people are gerrymandering anyway.
That's true.
It's just they're not Democrats.
That's true. I mean, even just locally, you're seeing, some of the the fallout from that, in the 9th district, where.
Well, what do you mean by that? When you talk about the 9th, which of course is represented by Council Member Curran Price, has had a black leader for many years. And it's interesting because given the percentage of black people in the population of Los Angeles,
Yeah.
we are overrepresented on the LA City Council. I'm not complaining. I think it's a good thing, but will it last?
Well, not if Curran Price has anything to say about it, because he's poised to give his seat to a Latino candidate.
Well, I don't think it's fair to say give. I mean, he's termed out.
That's true.
So what can he do about it? He can't run again. He's held the line all these years. You know what I
Yes,
mean? So it's really not up to him. It's up to the voters.
He is endorsing a Latino candidate.
Yeah. Well, and he's endorsing who he thinks is best. But I know a lot of African Americans are endorsing Latino candidates because folks feel it's inevitable that the 9th goes brown. We'll talk more about that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte. Let's preserve Black land stories before they're lost forever. I want to personally invite you to be a part of something historic. As journalist in residence for the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, I've joined forces with powerhouse attorney and social justice champion George Fothery, the man who helped make history by delivering justice to the Bruce family in Manhattan Beach, securing the first known return of land unjustly taken from Black owners by a local government. That victory was monumental, but it was just the beginning. For generations, Black families have acquired land through grit, faith, and determination, only to lose it through violence, legal loopholes, forced sales, and systematic racism. What's been taken goes far beyond dirt and deeds. It's the erasure of wealth, identity, and legacy. That's why we've launched the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, a national effort to collect, protect, and preserve the stories of Black land lost before they're buried, forgotten, or erased altogether. Because there's power in telling Black stories, there is resistance in remembering, and there's justice in being seen and heard. This is where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of this historic Black narrative archive. If you or someone you know has experienced land loss, displacement, or forced property sales, your story deserves to be heard and remembered. Your story belongs in this archive. Your truth matters not just to your family, but to our collective future. Visit blacklandlost.org today. Fill out our simple intake form and add your voice to the National Archive of Remembrance, Resilience, and Reckoning. Let's make these stories live on, not in whispers, but on the record. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2025, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-260-3330. That's 800-260-3330. Find out if you qualify today, 800-260-3330, or go to republictaxrelief.com.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Okay, so Attorney Chris Martin is here. We were talking about redistricting, which led to our conversation about the 9th. Then, of course, there was a terrible battle. Last time we had redistricting, which is supposed to happen every 10 years, according to the new census.
Yeah.
Now we're doing it mid-decade at the request of one Donald J. Trump. And with the response of California saying, oh, no, you're not about to steamroll us. Right. And I think what you were referencing when last time we had redistricting in LA, there was a battle about who gets to keep USC, who has the LAX airport in their district between the 8th and 9th, and other districts, and the infamous conversation between the then council president Nuri Martinez, a couple of Latino council members, and the head of LA Federation of Labor, where they were basically conspiring to diminish Black power, Black electoral power.
Absolutely.
So then you mentioned the 9th district, which is currently a very large majority in terms of the voters, Latino.
Yes.
And yet they have elected Curran Price repeatedly. He's an African American and, does a great job in the district. He's done. 2026 he's termed out. You can't stay in the council forever in this city. He has endorsed his chief of staff, Jose Ugarte.
Yes.
There are several others that I know. Jorge Nuno, who is endorsed by the Democratic Socialists of America. Then Elmer Roldan, who I actually know from the Community Coalition, known him many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of African Americans are coalescing behind Elmer because we know that he is a strong ally to Black people, tested through many years of leadership at COCO, which was, of course, the powerful organization started by Karen Bass when she was a community organizer.
Absolutely.
But it sounded like you don't think we should. I'm guessing here, but it sounds like you don't think we should go with a Latino leader, even though that district is majority Latino.
Yeah, a lot of Black elected officials out there feel that there is a dearth of young Black leadership that is able to carry the mantle of leadership in our city, right? And I feel like it's disheartening because the truth of the matter is we are out here. There are a lot of young Black leaders. There's a lot of young Black talent out there who are capable of taking up the mantle, of doing better, of guiding our community to heights that it's never been to before, and from learning from the mistakes of our predecessors. But it seems like not everybody seems to appreciate that.
Well, I mean, some folks may or may not appreciate it. There's also the fact that everybody doesn't know, because people tend to hang around their little group of friends, which often includes mostly their generation. I'm weird. I have a lot of friends that are elders, like 80s, 90s, and then I have friends that are teenagers and 20-year-olds. I don't know. I've always been that way.
Yeah.
But most people just stick with their clique. They're with their generation.
Yeah.
And so that's part of it. But also, I feel like people expect you to work your way through the ranks, right? At one point, I was considering running for city council, and I was encouraged by some big-time leaders. Start smaller. Go neighborhood council. Go with the school board. Don't go right to city council.
Yeah. Do you feel like they were trying to just keep you out?
I don't know. I think they thought it wasn't my turn. I mean, we heard that with Barack Obama. Not his turn yet.
Right.
It's Hillary's turn or whoever's turn, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of factors. But I heard a rumor that you were considering running.
Yeah, I mean, I am.
You are running. You're definitely
running
for the 9th.
I'm running for the 9th.
But you've never held elected office.
I have never held elected office. That
Other
is true.
than like student government, right?
Other than student government and, just my background as a civil rights attorney and a community organizer. Now, I've never held elected office before.
Okay. So why city council? I mean, we'll talk about this more when we get into a little closer to the race, but I'm just curious. You have a law practice. You're making an impact as an activist. Why elected office?
Yeah. I've always felt that everything that I learned in the law was preparing me to one day be able to serve my community a little bit more directly than just, after the wrongs have happened to them and then they have to come before a court of law for me to serve them like that. Serving in public service is an opportunity for me to be proactive, so that they don't necessarily have to come to me as a lawyer.
Right.
Yeah.
Preventative measures.
Preventative
if you
measures.
will. Well, Chris Martin,
Yeah.
it seems like that race, I mean, seasoned politicians,
Mm-hmm.
analysts,
Yeah.
a lot of folks saying there's no way an African American holds that seat, especially someone, whose name is perhaps not as widely known. I mean, this is a big city. Each council district is like a whole city somewhere else.
Yeah, that's true. But I believe that Black people will vote for me. I believe that. I believe that I can unite the Black community to endorse me and put me in there.
I don't know the numbers in the ninth, but I know it's overwhelmingly brown.
That is true.
So will black votes alone get you elected there? I don't know.
Well, the thing is now, right, you have about 5 Latino candidates.
Right.
I think that there's a good chance there that they will probably split the Latino vote.
Well, yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
And the white vote and the Black vote.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I haven't seen the breakdown of the night. Okay, we got news, traffic, and sports right now. We'll keep the conversation going. We'll take your phone calls, all that straight ahead, only right here.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Senator John Thune says Democrats are holding the government hostage with demands tied to health care.
I'm very comfortable with the position that we have. It's to fund the government, finish the appropriations process, deal with the issues the Democrats want to deal with after we keep the government open.
If no deal is reached, a partial shutdown will begin on Wednesday. The National Guard arrives in Memphis this week to help fight crime. Governor Bill Lee says it's a phased support effort involving 13 federal agencies. Black Mayor Paul Young says he didn't request troops, but hopes they'll aid cleanup and community safety, not act as frontline police. And the Justice Department has subpoenaed travel records for Georgia DA Fani Willis, who charged Trump with election interference. Investigators want details on trips she took abroad around the 2024 election. It's unclear if Willis is the target or could face charges. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The stage is set for MLB's postseason.
How good was that?
October hits different. Watch baseball at its finest. Postseason 2025. Major League Baseball. Trademarks used with permission.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
For the first time in his 8 years with the Lakers, LeBron is entering the season with an expiring contract. LeBron, who turns 41 on December 30th, will be an unrestricted free agent after his 23rd NBA season. Despite LeBron's uncertain future with the Lakers, he told reporters at the Lakers media day that he's not worried about his contract situation. LeBron has a one-year deal with the Lakers for $52.6 million. He gave no indication of a possible timeline for retirement, but he did confirm that he has no intention of waiting to see if his younger son Bryce will reach the NBA. Bryce is a freshman forward at the University of Arizona. Unlike his brother Bronny, Bryce is not considered a one-and-done prospect for the NBA draft in 2026. Bryce could be at Arizona for a couple of years. By that time, it's very possible LeBron's retirement plans will no longer be a mystery. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hello, KBLA listeners. This is Dr. Paul Wallace. I want to discuss a type of eczema called atopic dermatitis, which is often misdiagnosed in Black children and adults. Atopic dermatitis is an autoimmune disorder that can be accompanied by food allergies, hay fever, and asthma. This rash targets the inner arms, behind the knees, and face, but can go all over the body. It causes excessive dryness and 24/7 itching. It's the scratching and steroid use that leads to permanent scarring. I'm enrolling patients in a new clinical research study focused on better treatment options for atopic dermatitis. Of course, your medication and travel reimbursements are provided. To see if you qualify, visit dermstudies.com or call us at 323-296-0048. That's 323-296-0048. There's nothing worse than itching. Let's take the next step in controlling this problem.
Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD. We'll help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And right now you're waking up with me and attorney Chris Martin, who has just revealed he's running. But that's okay. That's for next year. I just want to point out, having looked this up, that apparently there are 15.7% of the population in the 9th District is Black. 79.9%, i.e. 80%, is Latino, right?
Yeah.
13% Asian, 2.1% white. I never knew that the 9th District had such a low number of people who are categorized as white. That's really wild. But anyway, that's an uphill climb for any Black candidate.
Well, the truth of the matter is that those numbers are deceiving, because the majority of people who vote in the 9th District elections historically have been Black.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, Black people in LA were 8% of the population, but we're about 20% of the voters,
right.
From what I've seen, which go us, yay.
Yeah.
We punch above our weight class for
right.
sure.
Right. And it dispels the notion that Black people don't vote, right?
Yeah.
Because
in LA we do.
Right. Since 1967, right? From Gilbert Lindsay to Rita Walters to Jan Perry, and then to Karen Price, they've all been Black.
Yep.
That's because Black people have recognized the importance of putting people who are going to advocate for our interests in that seat.
And also because we do get Latino votes. I mean, let's not pretend that's not happening. I think the division between Black and brown that is being fanned by certain individuals and organizations, we're competitors because we're in the same areas. We live, work, and go to school together. Of course, we're competitors.
Yes.
But a lot of Latinos vote for black candidates, or you
Exactly.
wouldn't have a Mayor Karen Bass.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have a Curran Price. You might not even have, a council member, Heather Hutt, because
Absolutely.
the 10th district is incredibly diverse.
Absolutely. And ultimately, I believe that we are stronger when black and brown people are united rather than divided.
Morris Phillips says, Dominic, messaging, not ethnicity, is what gets you over with Latinos. Yeah, I think both can be true.
Yeah.
I think both can be true. Look what's happening with the outrage over Bad Bunny doing the Super
Yeah.
Bowl, which is hilarious
Yeah.
to me. Miles and I talked about it yesterday. I knew MAGA was mad, but I didn't realize they were hopping mad. And of course, Miles, after the show, we were talking about how he's a Rock Nation artist, which
Mm-hmm.
Miles brought that up, right?
Right.
Makes sense.
Right.
Jay-Z not playing.
He's not playing.
He's like, well, I would have been, we should give them a country artist, to be
Mhm.
fair. Not Jay. He's like,
Right.
we going with our roster. That's why he's a billionaire and I'm a thousandaire.
I hear you. That money talk, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you got to be ruthless.
Yeah.
To be a billionaire, in this capitalist world, you got to be ruthless.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to Paul calling us from LA. Good morning, Paul. Paul?
Good morning, Dominique. Your guest also.
Yes, welcome.
I love the conversation today, and brother, I support you on everything you said. I think that I'm happy you brought the situation with the racially motivated redistricting to dilute our black votes. That was exactly the reason that transpired. It happens in the community. But I also agree with the brother when I say that we have and this is just us. We have that.
Paul, your phone is going in and out. If we're on speakerphone, take us off. But if we're not, then can you make your arm an antenna or move to a different part of the house so we can get the phone clearer? You there, Paul?
Is that better?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes. Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. I just think that there's an area of opportunity for ourselves also. For example, we have that family member that's the best on the barbecue, the best on the macaroni and cheese, and we only designate that person to make it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We never set up the contingency plan, who's the next in line when that time comes to pass the baton on. We just leave those community activists or those leaders in position and political positions that they'll be there forever. And then what ends up happening as new ideas come, as there are generational gaps and things that the next generation may want and may look for, they're not in place. So when our elected officials term out, there's nobody in succession to take on the mantle, and then we lose.
You know what, Paul?
district.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
I think it's particularly with African Americans or black people or freedmen,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. We suck at succession planning. I think politically.
Yeah.
I think that the problem with that is in some ways it's power. Once people get in power, at some point it's like they don't want to pass the baton.
Right.
But then for us as voters, we have to make sure we set those demands in place. And I hate to say it this way, when you have a brother like this talking about, but when we're engaged as voters, I think we have a whole generation of our younger youth that are engaged, but may not be engaged politically, that we need to get ingrained into the system too and get out to vote. So we can always replace and put our people in there. I'm not saying we're black only, but what I'm saying is we need to be black first.
Yeah. Well, to me, that's always clear. That's not even controversial to me.
Yeah.
I guess it is for some. I have always said if I have two candidates that are equally qualified, whether it's a job or a political office, and one is black and one is not, I'm going to choose the black person. Of course, that's not to me. That's not even like confusing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I
I'm for my people. I love black people. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so,
But it doesn't. But to your point, Paul, it doesn't mean black only. And somebody's in the chat saying we don't need black and brown coalition. I disagree. We have done very well with coalitions, and people want to pretend that's not true. But we have. There would be no Mayor Tom Bradley. There would be no President Barack Obama. There would be no Mayor Karen Bass. There would be. The coalitions have been very fruitful for black people, not just in LA, but everywhere. And it doesn't mean that we don't put black first.
I hear you, and
That's,
I'll just add on to that by saying, I've spoken to a number of Latino people, and a lot of them support me. So it isn't just the Black community that I'm hoping to gain the support of. I do want to gain the support of the Black and brown people, but I also just want to make sure that I'm doing something for my people.
What about those 2% of white people, Chris?
The 2%.
The 2. Okay, Paul. I know you weren't done.
No, and I love this conversation because we need more of it. But for example, people and I'm really big on strategic economic boycotts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the situation with Target, right? Because what matters more than anything else besides color is dollars.
Yeah,
we have 300 to 400,000 Black women since this administration has gotten office that have lost their jobs. But it wasn't until Jimmy Kimmel got silenced that people wanted to exit Disney.
Yeah.
Overall.
I mean, I heard that. I heard that was a big and good, actually, talking point on social. But I also think policy over party, policy over race, policy over money for me, because Clarence Thomas is Black and I don't want him to be president. Like at a certain point, we also have to look at policy, consciousness, and where a person is coming from, and not solely Black faces in high places.
Yes, that's true, Dominique. But remember, as a voting bloc, when we are engaged, we are the most educated. What are our top voting issues? The economy, because we understand that's jobs, right? Healthcare, because we understand how important health care is when it comes to disparities and everything. And then also our push and struggle when it comes to social injustices, racism and everything. So we understand these things. It's just us getting engaged. So when you have a brother that comes on your show like this that says, I'm going to be your voice for you guys first and what your issues are in the community, these are the people that we need to be backing and vetting, because overall, it comes down to who we put in office that's going to have the best in mind, not just for us, but for everybody.
Yeah, well, it's well said, Paul. I do think vetting is also part of it. I happen to know Chris from protests and activism. But okay, so here's a question for you, Chris, because me and Paul talk all the time, right? So here's a question for you, and Paul kind of brought this up too, which I think is great. This is not just about you. Let's talk about a political hypothetical.
Yeah.
You've got a bunch of candidates of various ethnicities.
Yes.
And you have a progressive who has the money, the endorsements, and is considered a strong possibility.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have an insurgent candidate, someone who's never run for public office, who has a very slim chance of getting in. I mean, if you look at it statistically, because it costs a whole bunch of money to run any race in California. Do you strategically go with the progressive who has a stronger chance to win, or do you say, well, I can go even more progressive, even though, it's the Dr. Cornel West argument. Do I go with Dr. West, even though he has a very slim chance of winning? Or do I strategically vote for the person who has a better chance?
Right. So I hear you. And first of all, I want to say, I don't believe I have a very slim chance of winning. I think I have a very high chance.
I said it was hypothetical.
galvanizing the Black vote, who has been the majority of voters since 1967 through the present day, which is why we've had Black city council people in District 9 since 1967 in Gilbert Lindsay.
8, 9, and 10.
Right. So that's why I feel like my chances are good here. You know what I mean? I believe in this.
So like I said, this is a hypothetical. Okay, you have to believe in it to run.
Gotta believe.
But we're not in campaign season yet. So let's say hypothetically. Well, I guess we can answer that. Did you vote for Dr. West?
Well, I mean, I voted for Kamala.
You did.
Yeah.
Well, it was a strategic decision, because I know you're to the left of her on most things.
On a lot of things.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I would vote for the person that I believe represented my interests. And I don't believe that the front runner is going to do that in this one.
Right. I don't know who the front runner is, but
Yeah.
All right. Well,
and nobody needs to know who that is right now.
Yeah, because it's not even 2026, but it'll be here in a minute, in a blip, in a heartbeat. 800-920-1580. That's the number Paul called, and we're unpacking, taking a look at some things going on around here. An LA County Sheriff's deputy pleading guilty to a criminal activity in a crypto scheme. We'll talk about that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Clinical research drives medical progress and gives patients access to potentially cutting-edge treatments like CAR T cell therapy, a breakthrough for certain blood cancers that is also being explored for other cancers. To ensure therapies like CAR T benefit everyone, research must include participants from all backgrounds. Historically, Black African Americans have been underrepresented in clinical trials. By participating, you help make treatments more inclusive, equitable, and effective for yourself and future generations. Talk to your doctor about CAR T cell therapy and how you can potentially get involved in clinical research. This message was brought to you by Kite, a Gilead company.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your fit. You know my car's my happy place. Keep a smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
What's a Monday or the next? I do seem to forget it all. I lose my sense of time when I think of how you're mine. When I'm with you, time sprouts its own wings and flies away. When we're apart, seconds are like hours in my heart.
This man has so many jobs. That's attorney Chris Martin right there. And one of your other jobs as an R&B soul singer, possibly a singing attorney or a crooning council member.
I like that, the crooning council member. It's coming.
It's could happen. Well, that would certainly make our council meetings more fun.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I want to say that there's a standard of excellence to everything that I do as a Renaissance man. You know, I value doing everything at the highest levels. You can tell with my music, that's the same level of intensity and focus that I would put into being a council person.
Where can we find your music?
My music is available on all streaming platforms under the name Doc Martin and my band Brown Suede.
Brown Suede. That's so smooth.
Thank you.
And of course, I've, Doc Martin is where he streams. Okay, so a former LA County Sheriff's deputy is pleading guilty to being part of a crypto scam. His name is Michael David Coburg, and he pleaded guilty yesterday to 2 federal crimes in connection with his side hustle, working for a cryptocurrency guy who calls himself the Godfather. And apparently there were several other deputies that admitted being part of this scam. It's a big, dare I say RICO, run by this guy, Adam Iza, who pleaded guilty earlier this year. Thoughts?
My goodness. Well, one of the things that I can say, my experience of being a civil rights attorney, where I specifically handle cases of police brutality and excessive force on behalf of, victims of police, is that nothing surprises me about what sheriffs or officers are capable of. They are just humans who happen to wear a badge. They're capable of disobeying
humans
the law.
Who happen to wear a badge. He's looking at up to 30 years.
Yeah.
Here's some pretty serious charges.
Yeah, that is very serious, and the punishment appears to fit the crime with that.
Yeah, I guess he was calling himself law enforcement while he was and carrying a gun while he was doing his crypto biz. So
my goodness,
that's sounds legally problematic.
Very much so.
Yeah. Okay, so Diddy is going to be Sean Combs is going to be sentenced on Friday of this week. Prosecutors in New York now saying that he deserves at least 11 years in prison, even though he was acquitted of the most serious charges. And he just has 2 counts of transportation for purposes of prostitution. So basically getting hoes.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
it's more serious because they were transported, right?
It is more serious because they were transported, right?
But 11 years?
11 years. I mean, I don't think he's going to get the 11. But yeah, that is what he's facing.
Yeah. They're saying because he's unrepentant and his victims fear him. But see, I think, and you know what? I'm not trying to endorse domestic violence or anything like that, but that's not what he was on trial for.
Right.
And so the victims of the prostitutes, I don't know, are they in fear? I don't know. The domestic violence victims,
yeah,
that's a different question, but that's not what he was.
It's not what he was on trial for.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to this, I mean, it is considered a very serious crime to transport them across state lines. And that is where those extra years are coming from.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So don't be flying people in. The whole flew in thing is not a good idea.
Yeah, that is a terrible idea. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Even if the person's not a prostitute, because they can later say whatever. Is that why? Like, let's say, if you're just getting flew in because you're dating someone consensually.
That's different.
Is it though?
I mean,
legally, I'm asking.
Legally is different. I mean, if we're talking about prostitution, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if a rapper flies you in and then you later decide that you're mad at that person, couldn't that be a problem?
I mean, is the rapper flying you in, or like, are you getting money in exchange for flying in?
The money part is yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's distinguishable.
I got you. Even if what if the money is in the form of that person buying you stuff? If he got a Birkin,
right? I can put you in a mansion.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Wisconsin. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Kid away. I love it. Well, okay.
It does become a slippery slope, but for sure we know that money. Don't be offering money in exchange for, flying somebody out.
Yeah, and I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they do throw the book at Diddy, because I think that he lost in the court of public opinion.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that's fair, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the whole thing with the baby oil and all that was prosecutors trying to taint the jury pool, trying to taint our vision of this guy, because being a freak is not illegal.
Sure.
Baby oil is not illegal.
Not illegal law.
Being gay or bisexual or pansexual, not illegal.
Not illegal.
But people will judge you for it.
He's definitely lost in the court of public opinion. His image is ruined.
Yeah. And how much does that affect judges?
How much does a defendant losing in the court of public opinion affect judges?
Yeah, like in sentencing and stuff like that. Critical decisions.
That is a great question. I mean, ultimately, judges are human, and
humans with robes.
Humans with robes, exactly. That is one thing that I've learned. You know what I mean? Like, no matter the title or the position, people are just people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It probably does affect the judge to some extent, but you would hope that they would just be able to put that aside and be objective about it.
If you're wondering why traffic is terrible in Irwindale, apparently 2 big rigs crashed and there's beer all over the 210. It's like just endless kegs and cans of beer. So if you're a beer drinker,
right,
make the dash. Attorney Chris Martin, thank you so much for coming in. We'll do it again. Tell us how to keep track of you.
Yeah, feel free to follow me at doc_Martin88. That is my IG. And, I'm looking forward to, just connecting with all of y'all, and follow my alternate pages on there when you look at my bio. Thank you.
Okay. Doc_Martin88.
That's me.
Dorsey Dawn in the house. Some of my favorite guests are Dorsey Dawns. Thanks so much once again. And of course, next hour, it's me, you, and this telephone, microphone, social media. Call me now, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Thanks again, Chris. KBLA, Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Senator John Thune says Democrats are holding the government hostage with demands tied to health care.
I'm very comfortable